Hi, my name is Dorothy Clear. I'm a certified professional organizer and I'm the owner of Clear Organization. And I want to thank Jen so much for inviting me to share some experience and hope with you today that you can recover from your clutter. And it's always my pleasure to give back to a worthy cause. So thank you, Jen, for inviting me back onto one of the Care Bridges support groups. So Jen asked me to talk to you about creating order in your home, even during a stressful time. And I want to start by showing you a few pictures. And this is pretty much what stress looks like when I research it on the internet. And so I have two questions for you. True or false? This is the universal pose for stress. And 4 out of 5 people who are stressed out use their left hand when posing like this. So that's just to break the ice a little bit.
Yeah.
What is stress? We all feel it. We always know when we're in it. But here's some technical reasons of what stress are. Stress is the body's reaction to harmful situations. And this could be either real or perceived threats or emotional upheaval. When you feel threatened, a chemical reaction occurs in your body that allows you to act in a way to prevent injury. This is known as fight or flight. And you actually do experience physical symptoms when you are going through stress. Some people get headache, some people get nausea, some people will shake. I'm one of those people that, would shake if they were in a fight or flight situation. So it's important to understand what's going on in your body and how you can calm yourself down. Sorry, I'm having a technical difficulty. During the stress response, your heart rate increases, your breathing quickens, your muscles tighten, your blood pressure rises. Sometimes when this happens, people get flushed or they get hot. You're ready to act. This is a defense mechanism so that you can protect yourself. One of the best things to do when you do have stress to calm yourself down is to do some deep, slow breathing. That helps the physical reaction that's going on in your body to calm yourself, to calm your body, to calm your mind. And there are a million reasons why we might experience stress. And you can list the top 5, the top 10. It doesn't matter what you're going through right now. Having a major illness or injury is in the top 5 on all the lists. Death of a loved one. I specialize in grieving clients, and that's why I read the book, How to Recover, whatever the title of my book is, Jen, I don't remember. Restore Order, Restore Joy, How to Get Your Life in Order After a Loss. Divorce, moving, job loss. And I'll tell you what, I've been through all of those things. I've been through a major injury. I've been through job loss, moving, divorce. All these things are so stressful. You have to know how you can relieve some of that stress. Now, if the list is big enough, it probably would include organizing too. Why does clutter lead to so much stress? Well, let's review these 8 things that a PhD by the name of Sherry Berg Carter has put into an article that I found on the internet. It's the best way to really encompass everything in a nutshell. And everything that I know, I've been organizing for 10 years now. Everything that I've learned through my education, this article really encapsulates it very well. When you have clutter, too much clutter, it creates excessive stimuli in your environment.
Okay.
Which, Jen, did you have something? Okay.
No, I'm okay.
Excessive stimuli, which causes our senses to work overtime, distracts us by drawing our attention away from what our focus should be. And that's, usually taking care of yourself or taking care of other family members. It's more difficult to relax both physically and mentally in a cluttered environment. Constantly signals your brain that your work is never done. You're always trying to figure out, you're getting anxious. How am I going to get all this done? What do I need to do to process this? How am I going to find the time? Creates feelings of guilt and embarrassment. Should I be more organized? Why am I not doing this? Creates low self-esteem. Why can't I get this? Why can't I find the time? It inhibits creativity and productivity by invading the open spaces that allow most people to think, brainstorm, and problem solve. So it really affects our effectiveness at problem solving, creativity, productivity, just living day-to-day effectively in our environment. And it frustrates us by preventing us from locating what we need. There's nothing more stressful than when you're leaving and you can't find your keys, or you can't find your cell phone, or you can't find that very important paper that you need for the place that you're going to, which makes you run around the house looking for it and then makes you late for your appointment. Fortunately, even though we find a lot of stress in our day-to-day jobs, relationships, driving in traffic, being in line at the grocery store, the good news is that clutter is one of the easiest stressors to fix. And so here are a few ideas, and these really correspond to the 8 things that I try to do step by step with some of my clients. And I will give you some additional tips as we go along. And if you think of any questions, jot them down. If you don't think you can wait until the end of the presentation, jot them down, and I'd be happy to answer any of your questions at the end of the presentation. One is, don't tackle the job alone. This could be for a number of reasons. One, it's really hard to be honest with yourself when you're trying to make a decision. Okay. It helps to have somebody else to bounce those ideas off of and help you to make those decisions. Besides, some things could be physically too taxing to do on your own. And if you live with other people, it's really important to get everybody in the household involved. 2, create designated spaces for frequently used items. You've heard the old adage, everything should have a place and everything should be in its place. A place for everything and everything in its place. Well, that's what that means. If you don't know why this thing is laying out on the counter all the time, it's because you haven't figured out a home for it, which means that you might be having trouble putting that into a category. A lot of people with chronic disorganization have a hard time fitting things into categories. So you have to think, does it belong in the bathroom, the basement, the attic? If it's archival, which means you're only going to need it occasionally, it might be in the attic or the basement. If you keep all your tools in the garage or the basement, then that's where it should be. It also helps that you have most used items in several places throughout the house. This is especially important if you have other people living in the house with you, especially children. They seem to take things and not put them back where they belong. So sometimes it's good to have a pair of scissors on every level of your house. If you don't use it, don't want it, or don't need it, get rid of it. And a lot of people struggle when it comes to getting rid of things because they don't know how to get rid of it. There's a few things you can think about. Can someone else use this? And if so, ask them if they'd like to have it. Maybe it can just be tossed out. But even tossing things out, you have to be responsible. If you're not sure, ask someone or research it on the internet. You can donate an item to a local thrift store or a charity, or it may be able to be recycled. When you take something out of its designated space, the home that you gave it, put it back immediately when you're finished with it. I know when I was raising my kids, I was always like, put that back where you got it. And the answer was always, oh, Mom, I'll do it later. Well, guess what? Then they forget, and later never happens. So it was important for me to teach them that that's a form of procrastination, and you need to put it away when you're thinking about it. You're more successful at getting things put away that way, and you're less likely to have an accumulation of clutter. 5, create a pending folder. Pending folders are great because you can decorate it vibrantly to catch your attention, no matter where it might be sitting. But again, hopefully you have a designated space for it. The pending folder helps you to clear off your workspace, whether that's your desk or your dining room table or a kitchen counter. And at the same time, it provides you ready access folder for centralized and easy papers and projects to reach for and grab, especially if you're on the go. This is a great idea if you have kids that bring home papers from school all the time, things that need to be signed or a permission slip, party invitations, renewing your driver's license, things like that that need your action or that are time sensitive. Don't let papers pile up. Believe it or not, none of us are born knowing how to put a filing system together. But in my experience, many of my clients have paper overwhelm because they've never learned how to create a filing system. And it's a pretty easy thing to create. All you need are some file folders, some labels, or a Sharpie to write on the folder, and either a file drawer cabinet, or sometimes you can buy a little plastic file folder bin at Staples or Walmart, and they're not very expensive, but that would be a nice place to keep all your important papers. Even some clients that I've dealt with who have long-term disability, I will have them create a binder to keep all their medical paperwork in. And you can section that off for doctor's appointments and prescription information. Declutter your primary workspace before you leave or at the end of each day if you can. So kind of tidy things up, put them in piles. It's nice to have some Post-it notes available. You can write a little Post-it note on something if it needs your attention, or if you're going to forget why it's sitting out. And make it fun. If you need to create a new routine on how to get everything together before you leave the house, make a song out of it or do a little dance and practice that so that you remember to create this new habit. If you have kids, this is a great way to get kids to learn how to organize, is to make it a game. And there can be a reward at the end, like a little piece of candy or their favorite snack food. It could be, an extra book before bed, but you can make a fun game out of anything. When my grandson used to come to visit, I would teach him to clean up his blocks. And we would do it by shooting the blocks into the bin that they belong into, like we were shooting basketball. And whoever did it the quickest or got the most cleaned up, they were the winner. It's really great for kids who have a competitive nature. Let's see. Okay, so the reward at the end. And these are intrinsic rewards, but you could also put in line an extrinsic reward. That means something that comes outside of yourself. So these internal rewards are physical and mental relaxation in your space. You would be less anxious and hopefully more creative, fewer distractions and better focused, and time for enjoyable activities. But if you're going to do a little organizing, why not reward yourself with, say, going to your favorite coffee shop, or getting your favorite takeout sandwich, or a trip to the movies? I love to get to the theater. I go all by myself. It's my special treat on Tuesday. If I meet all my goals the week before, then I get to go to a Tuesday matinee. It's nice to be your own boss. But you can build in rewards, and this works great with kids too, like I said earlier. So mental clutter can be just as stressful. So you want to make sure that you don't just address your physical clutter, but your mental clutter as well. Mental clutter topics could be a whole nother presentation, but it could be the way you talk to yourself. You know, instead of saying, oh, I'm so lazy, I don't know why I don't get this done, you need to kind of reframe that and say, well, today I just didn't feel well enough to do it. I will try again tomorrow. So let go of that mental clutter too. Other people's negativity, if they're judging you, you don't need it, and you don't have to put up with it. You can set a boundary with people to let them know, you know, when you have good days, you'll work on it. When you have bad days, you just got to let it go. And you have to be okay with you on those days. So let go of the guilt, let go of the embarrassment, put yourself and your health first. Clutter is stressful, but it shouldn't come ahead of self-care. I want to wish everybody a happy Valentine's Day tomorrow. That's why I'm wearing red and pink tonight for Valentine's Day. And if you have any questions, you can always reach me at Clear Organization. And there is all of my information. I also write a blog. I haven't been keeping up with that lately, but you're going to see some new blog posts coming very soon.